Hi all, this is my top 10 beast pets. This is in no way a definitive recommendation, it's just the pets I use on a regular basis for working out strategies. I'll include breed recommendations where available. At number 10 are foxes and warg pups. Each fox has a different set of breeds, so you probably want to go for quite a few different ones. You can pick up the Alpine Foxling from Kunlai Summit. This one has speed version and a power version. The Foxling kit comes in a balance and speed version, and so does the black-footed fox kit and the mist fox kit. The warg pup is the health version. There's a power and speed version from the Storm Peaks, and the weather effect has to be snow for this to appear. And the Storm Peaks is in the Wrath of the Lich King expansion, so the top of Northrend is where this one's at. There's also a Fjord warg pup. This one comes in a power and a power health version. And then you also have a fox kit which drops from Baradin Fox in Tolbarad, and this one is a health and speed version. My recommendations for these, for pet breeds, I would go with a speed version, so an Alpine Foxling. I would go for a health version, which is the warg pup, and then probably a power version, which would be the Fjord warg pup, which is from the Howling Fjord, which is also in Northrend. The abilities I would normally take for these would be Flurry or Bite, depending what you're fighting against, Crouch, and Dazzling Dance. You would use Dazzling Dance if you're slower than the enemy team, or any of your backline pets are slower than the enemy team. This lasts for 9 rounds and gives a 25% increase in speed. Very handy to have. If your Foxling is faster than the enemy team, you would save this for maybe to the last round you're about to be defeated, so that your remaining backline pets do have a speed increase over the enemy team. You would more than likely start with Crouch and then Bite or Flurry until defeated or the enemy pet is defeated. At number 9 we have the Direhorn runt. Now this one has a bunch of different breeds. I would probably recommend the health breed, the power breed, or the power and health breed. If you only want one of these, I would recommend going with the power and health breed. It's the only one I have. A health and speed version may also benefit you well in case there's fights where your runt needs to be faster. Generally with these, you would usually use Stampede if you want to apply some kind of shatter defenses debuff if your runt is going to die and your remaining pets can clean up. Leaving a shatter defenses debuff on the opposing team can be beneficial. You've also got Direhorn Shield, so if you're coming up against any pets with a Stampede type of ability, you would use this and that will totally stop you from taking any damage. And Trample works really nice, deals 154 damage or more depending on which version you've got, and also 10% of the target's health. Works really nice on high health pets. You also have Primal Cry if you want to slow the enemy team down. There are 2 other pets that share the same moveset as this one. The first one is the Pygmy Direhorn. This one comes from Horidon in the Throne of Thunder, or off the auction house if you can't be bothered. This one has 1 breed of power and speed, so if you can get this one, I'd recommend that one as well. And then you only kind of need the power and health one, the Direhorn. There's also the Stunted Direhorn. This comes from the Brutal Pet Brawler, so if you like PvP then you can do that one, but that one might take some time to get, and that one is the power version, which would be really nice to have. Failing that, the Direhorn runt makes a pretty decent alternative. At number 8 is the Fel Piglet. This one can be bought in Dalaran for 200 tokens. This one I really like. It's only got 1 breed. It makes short work of critter pets. You use Horn Gore, Pig Out and Cooldown, and either Headbutt or Rampage depending on which one you're taking. It does a hell of a lot of healing to itself. You can even use it against mechanical pets with Fel Immolate, so Fel Immolate, Pig Out, and then just swap between those 2 and Headbutt when off cooldown. Does quite a nice chunk of healing all the time. If you don't have the tokens available for this one, you can also pick up a health version, almost the same. It doesn't have Fel Immolate. This one you can get from Legion Alchemy. And again, you can just use Horn Gore, Pig Out, Horn Gore, and then Headbutt. Or if you're fighting against undead, this can work quite nice there, so Chomp, Pig Out, Chomp, and just follow that. There's also this unpronounceable Piglet. Again, this one's the same power and speed as the Fel Piglet, and this time we get Ooze Touch and Pig Out. You also get Arcane Dash. This one's a 5 round cooldown and deals whatever amount of damage and a 25% chance to stun, as well as the usual critter killing abilities. Again, Horn Go, Pig Out, Horn Go, Rampage if you feel like it. And a flying is Ooze Touch, Pig Out, Ooze Touch, and so forth. And Arcane Dash if you feel like it. I think I probably should get this one. At number 7 we have Ashana, or any similar pet with Screech and Pounce. Higher the power here is probably the best way to go. Ashana is a power and speed version. It doesn't really matter about these last two, but Screech and Pounce are the ones we go for. So if you can get any kind of power versions here, this would work really well. As long as Screech reduces the enemy team's pet to slower than your pet, then this works really well. I like using Ashana for strategies because it's only one breed, so I can always account for any kind of variation. At number 6 we have the Lost Nether Pup. This one can be bought from your garrison from Warlords of Draenor. It only has one breed, so power and speed. This one works really good against human pets, so Howl and Shadow Shock. Or if you've taken a big hit, you can use Vengeance to return the damage back to its caster. But be careful with this, because if you then take small hits, Vengeance will just return that damage. So it's best to use when you're about to take a big hit and you're slower than the opposing team's pet, so that once you've been hit, it will return that damage straight away. You can also use Howl, followed by Shadow Shock if you're against humans. This does a nice amount of damage. Or Howl, followed by Dark Flame if you're going against mechanical, or Howl and Maul if you're going against critter. They all work really nice. Maul works really nice against critters if you have another pet in your team that can put a bleed on, as Maul does extra damage if the enemy pet is already bleeding. An alternative to this one, not quite the same moveset, is the Fel Pup. This one comes from a quest called A Fel Puppy of My Own. This is in Tanan Jungle. I can't remember where it starts. I'm sorry. And this one works, again, good against humanoid pets. You can have Howl, Disease Bite, and we've got a Crouch. So this one would work better if you need to take a little bit less damage, as the Lost Nether Pup does not have Crouch. Also, the Fel Pup has less health, so Crouch would probably be the way to go. And as it's a nice fast pet, the likelihood of you going first is pretty high, so you would Crouch first, then Howl, and then Bite if you're going against critters, and Disease Bite if you're going against humans. At number 5 we have the Ashmore Cove. This one I've used a lot in Battle for Azeroth. Pretty much Claw, Hibernate and Rampage. Any pet with those kind of abilities will work exactly the same. Such as a Hyle Cub, although it doesn't have Claw, it has Bite instead. But again, Hibernate and Rampage. You can get variant breeds of these in the Darkshore Cub, which obviously comes from Darkshore. You can get a balanced one, a power version, or a speed and power. I'd probably recommend the power. The Hyle Cub is the balanced version of this pet, so you don't need to look for one of those. However, we don't have a power version, so this one would work quite nice. The Baby Blizzard Bear, this one was from the 4th anniversary, so it's unavailable now, so if you want around then you can't get this. But the Darkshore Cub also has a power and health version of this, so although not quite the same abilities, would pretty much work in the same way. Also there's a pet called Scabby, which was introduced in Battle for Azeroth, I think, from a drop from Yugursa. I think that's how it's pronounced. You could probably just buy this one in the auction house. This one's quite good against humans. Still got the Hibernate and also the Rampage. Also you got Rabid Strike as well. So this one would work really nice against humans if you can get it. But really, for this type of pet, I like the Ashmore Cove or the Hyle Cub. At number 4 is the Lurking Owl Kitten. This one I've used quite a lot in Battle for Azeroth, as well as the Family Familiar achievement from Legion. Basically, it works really well against aquatic pets. So Screech if you're not faster than Feathered Frenzy and Quills. This makes short work of any kind of aquatic pet. If you're coming up against a critter pet, you could also use Screech if you're not faster, and then Claw. You've also got Prowl, but I don't really use that one that often. At number 3 we have a River Calf. This one can be bought from Dalaran with 50 tokens. There are similar pets with the same move set. There's an Albino River Calf. This one has a balanced breed, health power, and a health and speed version. As we have the health and speed version on the River Calf, I'd recommend any of the other 3. I've gone with the power and health version. There's also the Mudback Calf. If you don't want to spend anything, you can pick these up from Gorgrond. This is in Warlords of Draenor. It has the same breeds as the Albino River Calf. There's also the Mudback Calf, This one again is from Gorgrond, with the same breeds. And finally, you can get the flat-toothed calf from Talador. This is again in the Warlords of Draenor expansion, and again with the same breeds. If you're looking for a particular breed recommendation, I would go with the health and speed version and then the power and health version. But as there's 5 different ones, you could probably get one of each breed and not duplicate your pets. For the actual rotation of these pets, depending on what you're coming up against, if you're taking lots of little hits, you would use Stone Skin first, and then Water Jet or Bite, depending on what you're fighting. If you're taking big hits, so you would use Clobber, followed by Takedown. This deals double damage if the target is stunned. So when you stun a pet, it will swap out for one of its backline pets. So you can only use this if the pet you're fighting against and that you want to stun is either the final pet or there's some kind of weather effect or ability stopping that pet from swapping out. At number 2 is the good old little Cinder Poop. This one only comes in one breed, a power. Usually you would take Flame Breath, Crouch and Volcano or Howl. And then start with Crouch, usually chuck out Volcano or Howl, and then Flame Breath until defeated. I use the Cinder Poop a lot with just coming in, using Volcano and then swapping out for a pet with a Stampede type of ability. And then Volcano hits for a nice amount each time. And at number 1 is the Zandalari pets. They all have the same pet families, so Power, Speed, Power and Speed, and Power. The ones I would recommend the most here would be Power and Speed. However, I don't have these for each of mine, but these are the ones that would work the best. And this would be for each of the different ones. So Ankle Render, Foot Slasher, Knee Biter and Toe Nibbler. So if you can get a Power and a Speed, they are the ones I would go for. I only have a Speed of a Foot Slasher and a Power of a Knee Biter. For an Ankle Render, your usual abilities would be Hunting Party, Primal Cry and Black Claw. So Primal Cry if you're slower, then Black Claw followed by Hunting Party. The Foot Slasher is pretty much the same as the Ankle Render, except you've got exposed wounds rather than Black Claw. So Primal Cry if you're slower, followed by exposed wounds and then Hunting Party. Sometimes it's even better to stay slower and just start with exposed wounds followed by Hunting Party. For the Knee Biter, you would use Black Claw, Hunting Party and then usually Bloodfang. This is a pretty quick way of killing most pets that you come up against, especially with a Power version. For the Toe Nibbler, you would usually take Flank. This one works really well against undead pets and works in the same kind of way. So Primal Cry if you're slower, followed by Black Claw and then Flank. I hope this video was helpful and thanks for watching.